PlayStation's Paris Games Week is looking to be a big show, just as big as E3 of this year, so in this video, we want to take a look at 10 big games that we want to see at the show. This can be unannounced titles or gameplay of already announced, highly anticipated titles. So with that being said, let's get right into this. Spider-Man. Ever since Spider-Man's announcement, it has been one of the highly anticipated PlayStation 4 exclusives, and E3 of this year just ramped up with the anticipation after that amazing gameplay demo. The game's release is still a little bit ways out. It looks to be releasing in 2018, but we'd love to see more gameplay of Spider-Man at Paris Games Week. It looks like Insomniac are doing a great job with it, and this could turn out to be a big series for PlayStation, especially if Insomniac delivers with the game and Spider-Man is something resembling to what Batman Arkham did for Batman. This game just has a lot of potential, and we're dying to see more of it, even though we just saw more gameplay of it at E3, so this one might be one that they wait out until PSX to show off more, but nonetheless, new gameplay of Spider-Man would be great.
Too close.
Days Gone. Days Gone has been quietly creeping up in anticipation and hype. I think everybody knows that Sony Bend can put out good games. We saw that with Uncharted Golden Abyss, we saw that with Siphon Filter, and Days Gone initially, I don't think a lot of gamers were completely sold on the premise. It was a little bit on the generic side. The whole open world post-apocalyptic survive from zombies formula has been done, but with Days Gone, you do have a lot of interesting elements that we've learned over the last few months. It looks to be a more narrative-focused game. There looks to be engaging characters and a real story in there, and technically this game looks amazing. With how many zombies they're able to fit on screen and still having the game running smoothly, that's pretty impressive. Days Gone is one of those PlayStation 4 exclusives that's been kind of swept under the rug by Spider-Man and a couple of the other exclusives, and we want to see if new footage can help get its anticipation to the level of some of the other exclusives.
Let's do this. Yeah? You want some of this? Yeah!
God of War. Speaking of other exclusives, of course, another highly anticipated PlayStation 4 exclusive is the new God of War title, just dubbed God of War. It's a soft reboot from the franchise and goes away from the world of Greek mythology and into the world of Norse mythology. Kratos is now much older and he has a kid, and the gameplay looks to be a little bit slower, and the whole ambiance and tone of the game has shifted, and that's a very good thing. While God of War has been one of the top franchises for PlayStation, going back to 2002, the series has gotten a bit stale, and this God of War title looks to be a great change of pace. Hopefully we see more of the new God of War title at Paris Games Week.
The road ahead is long and unforgiving. No place for a boy. You must be a warrior.
But not everyone is bad. Mother always said to be open to those who can help.
Who you were before doesn't matter. This boy is not your past, he is your son. And he needs his father.
Shenmue 3. Shenmue is one of the most iconic franchises of all time, even though it didn't turn out all that well financially. Just so much money was poured into the first Shenmue game, and while it became a classic after Shenmue 2, we just thought the series would vanish into thin air, never to be heard from again, but then finally Shenmue 3 was announced, and it was funded with the help of Kickstarter. It's a game that we still don't know too much about, and it's probably better that we're left in the dark a little bit because Shenmue is a very story-driven game, and you don't want to be giving out spoilers left and right. However, a new trailer that shows off some more themes, characters, settings of the game, that would be greatly appreciated, and hopefully we see that at Paris Games Week. A new FromSoftware game. FromSoftware is one of the most talented studios in the world. We've seen what they've done with Dark Souls, and that became one of the biggest franchises in gaming of the last decade. They have other IPs such as Armored Core, and we do know that a new Armored Core game is in development, but they have other games in development as well. Could we see a Demon's Souls 2, a Bloodborne 2, or footage of the Armored Core game? FromSoftware is an extremely talented studio, and just seeing new footage of whatever they're working on would be great. Maybe this is one better save for PSX, but we would love to see it at Paris Games Week anyway. Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima has been in the eye of the gaming world ever since Metal Gear Solid 5, going back prior to that game's release. The controversy between Kojima and Konami has been well publicized, but that chapter has been closed. Now we move on to a new chapter, and that new chapter is Death Stranding. Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen portray the main protagonist as well as the main antagonist of the game, and so far what we've seen has set a very interesting tone for the game, but we still don't know much about it. We do know that it's an action game set in an open world environment, and it'll have some sort of multiplayer functions as well. We know how incredibly talented Hideo Kojima is, and now with the full backing of Sony, the potential for Death Stranding is really limitless. The release for the game is still probably a ways out. Late 2018, early 2019 makes sense, but hopefully we see some gameplay of Death Stranding at Paris Games Week. Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human is the latest game from Quantic Dream, a studio that really divides gamers. I think most would agree in saying that their game Heavy Rain was absolutely tremendous, but then they have titles such as Beyond Two Souls that are a little bit more decisive. Nonetheless, Detroit Become Human is their latest game, a neo-noir thriller that revolves around 3 androids. And once again, it's gonna feature a similar style of gameplay where you have to make various choices, and even if any of the characters die in the game, there is no game over screen. The game will just continue and find a conclusive ending on its own. That leads to a lot of replay value, which is very nice, and Detroit Become Human is set for a release in 2018. We probably won't get a gameplay demo of the title, but a new trailer that sheds some light onto the world of Detroit Become Human would be very nice.
I'm gonna send the humans a message. My name is Marcus, and just like you, I was a slave. But then I chose to open my eyes, to take back my freedom.
Left Alive. Left Alive is a recently announced title for PlayStation 4, and it has quickly become one of the more anticipated titles on the console. Being developed and published by Square Enix already leads itself to have a lot of credibility. It is set in the Front Mission universe, which is one of the lower key franchises in the world. Had this been a new Front Mission game, I don't think as many gamers would be excited for it as they are, but a lot of gamers see the Metal Gear resemblance with Left Alive, and with the star-studded lineup of developers including Shinji Hashimoto, Yoji Shinakawa, and more, it does have potential to be an incredible game, and it's set for a release in 2018, which is somewhat surprising, so we should see gameplay of this title very soon, and Paris Games Week does make sense. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII is one of the most iconic games of all time, arguably the most iconic JRPG of all time. When that game released, the gaming world was at a buzz, and then when we saw the tech demo for Final Fantasy VII running on the PlayStation 3 in 2005, well, of course, everybody wanted a full-on remake to Final Fantasy VII. Years would go by and we would hear nothing until E3 of 2015, where a full Final Fantasy VII remake was finally announced. We got a little bit more gameplay at that year's PSX. However, since then, information and footage of the game has been completely dry. It is about time we shed some more light on Final Fantasy VII. Now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is wrapping up in development, more on that in a little bit, it makes sense to now shed more light on the Final Fantasy VII remake and get gamers really excited for that. The release for the title is still probably a ways out. I was hoping for a 2018 release. However, with the other big Square Enix Japanese project probably releasing in 2018, the FF7 remake is probably due out in 2019. And who knows, with Square Enix it might be even longer than that, but hopefully we see some new footage of the title.
Okay, Riku. Let's move.
And finally, parlaying off the Final Fantasy VII remake, Square Enix's other big project, Kingdom Hearts 3. This is another title that's been long wanted by fans, going back to 2005 to Kingdom Hearts 2. But since then, we have had our appetites quelled by some spin-off titles such as Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and Dream Drop Distance was a continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2, and then we got a bunch of Kingdom Hearts collections, but now it is finally time for Kingdom Hearts 3, and we want to see more footage of it. It has been confirmed for a 2018 release. Again, this is Square Enix, so you really have to keep your fingers crossed, but it looks like development of Kingdom Hearts 3 is wrapping up, and now should be the time where they start showing off more and more of the title. Even without any new footage of Kingdom Hearts 3, Square Enix knows that the anticipation for this game is ridiculously high, but throw out another gameplay trailer, maybe a new demo, and the hype for Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna go through the roof. Hopefully we see more footage of this too at Paris Games Week. So that wraps up 10 PS4 games that we must see at Paris Games Week. What do you think? Which games are you hoping to see at the big show? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.